Those of you who've been here very long, you know that back in time I used to constantly introduce my wife. I'd have you zoom the camera in on her, if you could do that now. Are we seeing her? And I would say, before using the product, she was hideously ugly. And every time I would go home in the evening, and she would say, "Why do you say that every time? It is not funny." And I would say, 10,000 people laugh. You can't tell me that's not funny. We do what we must. Love my family. Appreciate their being here. Thank you. When I was going to BYU 30-something years ago, I was in the library one day, and I found my close friend asleep on the study table. He was laying on his books and on a yellow underliner pen. So this half of his shirt was all yellow, where his underliner pen had soaked in. That friend is Truman Hunt. Truman has always worked until he was completely spent. Nobody works harder than Truman. Nobody works smarter than Truman. I met him when I was 19 years old as a missionary living in France 32 or 3 or 4 years ago in the city that those people are from, Sully. That's an amazing and a lucky and blessed event, don't you think, the day that I met Truman Hunt. In January of 2003, he became the president and chief executive officer of NuSkin. I've always wanted to make a movie or a video that showed how life feels and looks for Truman Hunt. It would go like this, if we were to make such a movie. He would drive pleasantly to work, listening to nude music. Then he would sit calmly at his desk, checking the stock price. Then in the evening, he would drive home, pleasantly listening to music. Right? That's how it looks. And then the next part of the movie would be how it feels to be Truman. And the movie would go like this. He would drive calmly to work, listening to mood music. But as he walked into the building, he would get attacked by a ninja. As he tries to get to his office. And then someone would come running in and scream, the building is flooding, we've got to get to high ground. But he would fight his way to his office, but as he got to his office, there'd be a big old boxer guy who'd start pounding his head. It'd be an Indiana Jones style movie, you might recognize. There'd be snipers trying to shoot him, but luckily he's trying to get away from the ninja, so he doesn't hold still. And then somebody screams, "The building is on fire, get out." Finally, in the evening, he runs to the parking garage with his hair on fire. The ninja's still attacking. He dives into his car. He drives calmly home and spends a leisurely evening with his family while talking to distributors on his cell phone. Because that's how that job feels. And all of you can relate to this because that's kind of how your job feels, isn't it? People look and say, "Well, isn't that nice? He has a Rolls Royce." And they don't realize what a difficult amount of work that you do. Well, while Truman has been at the helm at NuSkin, while he has been our CEO, NuSkin's market cap, or our value, has gone from $924 million to, today, $3.1 billion. Pretty impressive. number of millionaire distributors went from 174 to 776. In short, amazing things have occurred during the time that he has been in charge. He's also a spectacular human being, and I love him, and I trust him. Of all the CEOs that we have had in the history of NuSkin, he is firmly in the top 3. Truman, if you could come up here for just a minute. Now, while he's coming up, while I was going to BYU, you stand right here. While I was going to BYU, I met another man. I met him at church. We were in charge of delivering the tithing from our church on Sundays to a bank depository box. The bank was closed. One Sunday we drove to the closed bank to drop off the pouch into the night depository box, and I watched as my friend went and dropped the money into the public mailbox by mistake. I don't even remember how we solved this problem. I'm surprised we're still members of our church. Allow me to introduce that friend to you now to help present a little special award to Truman. Please welcome Steve Lund. Is the largest, most glorious trophy that I could fit in my car. Truman, all for me. Wow, for your amazing good work. We really are lucky to have Truman at the helm. Now, when we were last in Africa, we had the enormous honor of meeting while we went to Zambia with the king of the Chewa people in Africa. That's a big trophy. You can use it for a punch bowl. There are approximately somewhere between 10 and 15 million Chewa people throughout Malawi and Zambia and Mozambique. This is the tribe in which I am the only white chief. It was a National Geographic experience for us. It was really fun. We met in this traditional village. There were dancers, really interesting, fun dancers everywhere, and we were not allowed to speak to the king until we had repeated 3 times, Yogawa, 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 and then we were allowed to speak to him. No one was allowed to have their head higher than the king, and it was just really a fun and rich cultural experience for us. We met with him, and he was kind and gracious and delightful, very pleasant man. We've all heard in our lives of good kings and bad kings.